And welcome to the latest and greatest from Step Brother Sports, part of the Hockey Podcast Network and the Bills Mafia Buffalo fan base platform. We're brought to you by Rich Brow Brewing, located at 5 South 20th Street, and that are Richmond's premier Buffalo Bills backers bar. Don't forget to subscribe to our socials and on all of our platforms. We're now on Twitch too, folks, at CFMaz, at CFMAZ, or at SV the Don NHL, or on YouTube at Step Brother Sports. So do all the things, like our videos, rate, review, subscribe, all those other great things you can do to help us. So, folks, we're nearing the end of the Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina. Got it on in the background as we're going live right now. The USA had a thriller of a finish against Sweden today, unfortunately sending Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin home, while assistant captain Tage Thompson gets to advance against Slovakia coming up on, I believe it is Friday of this week.
Yeah,
and
Canada,
Canada also escaping with a near upset on their hands, almost coming at the hands of Czechia right there. They escape with another overtime thriller themselves, with Mitch Marner taking away that the hopes and dreams of all the folks of Czechia, including David Pastrnak. But to kind of circle back here, today we also welcome back our friend in the Shenandoah Valley. You can hear his voice on More 96.1 and Q101 out in the Harrisonburg area of Virginia, and that surrounding region out near northwestern Virginia, if I'm getting my geographic parts right. Is that right, Riley?
Yep, you got that right.
There we go. But yeah, he's a native Richmonder, as many people know, and he's also has some Bills Mafia and Sabres fandom in his blood. So we're glad to welcome back to the show, Riley Reed.
Happy to be back. Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome back, brother.
Yeah, glad to have you. All righty. So, Riley, tell the listeners, tell us what's new and exciting in your neck of the woods. Anything that you'd love to share?
I got a raise, so that's really good.
Hell yeah, love that.
Always good.
It's always nice to get that, but really just trying to prepare myself at least for the Bills off season and all of that. Like, I am trying to figure out who we need to keep free agent wise and who we just need to let walk, and doing the draft stuff already. And I mean, my wife could tell you I've been doing mock drafts pretty much since November just for fun. Wow. It's more an anxiety thing for me when I'm at that level, because I know that it's not going to mean anything. It's more just like I got to do something. And so I did that, but now I'm really getting into it, and I'm excited that the combine's next week. So, looking forward to that. That's for sure.
NFL calendar really just never stops with that. So it's always pretty wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great to hear, man. I know we were just talking about some snow that was melting away here. We were talking about how that was kind of really grinding our gears in the past, with how Virginia and Central Virginia overall just generally treats it, because they don't do a great job of really getting rid of it. They just kind of let it sit there and just hope and pray it melts, and maybe put some sand on it. And if you get a Tonka truck that is a snowplow around here, you might be lucky.
It is true. It is true. I actually made a joke because I know that there are places like further up north that do something with the snow instead of just leaving it in piles. And I suggested, that you can drive by with like a giant vacuum, basically, to suck up all the snow, and then it melts down. You take it to your local municipality's water treatment facility, and you could put it back in there for drinking water. And somebody was like, yeah, but I don't know how to do the logistics of that or anything. I'm just the ideas guy. But yeah.
Right. Hey, nice. Love the creativity with that one. That's great.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if it would actually work, but
Right. So hello to our Texas fam. Thanks for tuning in as always. But anyway, let's get things rolling right away with this, Riley. So again, glad you were also thawed out in your neck of the woods there.
Definitely.
But to also, again, just getting right into your wheelhouse here, let's talk some JMU. Obviously, the college football playoff. They were the surprise team, much to my wife, UVA graduates' disappointment, of course, as they got to get in on UVA's dime, of course, after losing to Duke in the ACC championship. But still, JMU, surprise in the college football playoff. While, yes, that it was a a tough loss to Oregon, but they were the only ones against Oregon who truly put up a fight. And I know a lot of family members I have who attended JMU. I mean, they were like in it till the end. They didn't think even after that first half that they were entirely out of it too. I mean, yes, like the scoreboard didn't exactly look like it went in their favor, but I mean, still putting up like over 30 points against that Oregon defense was I think a respectable effort considering. I mean, you got to think some of that was the Oregon was putting their foot off the gas a bit, but still, you look at Texas A&M; they didn't put up any points against them, and I don't recall who played Oregon after that to get them into the college football championship. But still, they put up very lackluster performances against Oregon, and JMU was the only one with a really respectable showing. With that, also for that, Riley. I mean, again, you're very plugged in and dialed into what's going on in Harrisonburg, of course.
Yeah.
What's the outlook for JMU, whether it's football? And you could even talk about how the basketball program's doing as well. So what's the current outlook for JMU's athletics at this point in time?
Well, so the baseball season just got underway, believe it or not, in February.
Nice.
Also softball. Softball is a thing that JMU is pretty well known for, and women's lacrosse is also really solid, and they're ranked in the top 25 right now. I think 22 overall. So those seasons are just getting underway. Basketball, they're on a win streak right now. They're actually playing Coastal Carolina right now as we speak. And if they can pull off this win, that'll be 4 in a row, I think, that they've won. So
Nice.
they're definitely getting hot at the right moment. It's kind of been an up and down year, a lot of injuries, really been having to play one guy at point guard pretty much the entire game. And I mean, you got like another guy that's kind of playing point forward in Justin McBride, and he's probably the most consistent player they have. But Cliff Davis is like really turned it on as a 3-point shooter these past few games, and yeah, he's playing fantastic right now. So we'll see what happens with the Sun Belt tournament. That's probably coming up in a couple of weeks, I believe. But if they can keep winning, they can get that like 6th spot. I think they're right outside of that. And the team that they're playing tonight, Coastal, is the last I checked, I think it's a pretty tight game. So it might have just ended actually, but yeah,
But do a score check.
It's been a tough schedule for the basketball, like for that whole league. Like there's a lot of parity. So and it's a brutal league as far as like you're going to get pushed around a lot and everything. And I don't think people expect that in the Sun Belt, but yeah. And as far as football goes, just like a couple of years ago, they lost Signetti, and he has gone on to win a national championship, which a lot of people here were really proud of and happy to. It was kind of weird. It was like, all right, yes, he was our coach, and yes, he took a lot of players from JMU to Indiana, and it was definitely cool to see those. But some people were calling it like JMU Bloomington, and I'm like, okay, no, that's like that's a discredit to all the guys at Indiana, because it's not just the JMU guys that played well. Yes, a lot of them did, but Mendoza, he wasn't a JMU dude. He came from Cal. But Kalon Black, Elijah Surratt, Aiden Fisher, who I really want the Bills to draft as a linebacker. I was a huge fan of him at JMU. Loved watching him get even better at Indiana. So that's been cool to watch. But we lost our past coach, Coach Bob Chesney, to UCLA. And that's just kind of what you get when you're in those mid majors. When these giant contracts are we just can't compete as far as how much we're going to offer. But the fact that they were able to be like, all right, great, Chesney, thanks for taking us to the CFP, and the fact that he even coached in that game, I thought was so cool. And the dude is like straight class. I've never actually had a chance to meet him, but I've met a lot of the players, a lot of the student athletes there, and they say nothing but great things about him. And you can also see how much he impacts them and how they present themselves and how they're involved in the community. So he's been great with that, and we wish him lots of luck at UCLA for sure. He's taken a couple of more players that I was hoping we might be able to hold on to at JMU, mainly Sayer West, who is a defensive end that I think he's going to give the Big Ten a lot of hassle. Like there's going to be guys that they're not going to be able to handle him. He is a force to be reckoned with, and the fact that he was originally recruited to play at Holy Cross when Chesney was there, and then he came to JMU with Chesney. I mean, I don't know how you miss that guy in the recruiting, but we see that year in and year out. But now we got Billy Napier, and he's a former Sun Belt coach, then went to Florida. He didn't really have the full support of everybody in Florida. There were a lot of backers that were not fans of that hire, and they didn't back the team financially, maybe, or they made it a little bit difficult for him, I think. And that's a rabid fan base too. I mean, it's the SEC, and Florida. Ever since they lost Urban Meyer, they've been trying to get back to that, and they still. It's almost like Indiana basketball, like they're resting on their laurels from the past, and even Notre Dame football a little bit too. I know they've had some pretty solid seasons as of late, but back to getting Napier, I was surprised that we were able to get him. I really thought that we were actually going to end up hiring the Lehigh coach, Kevin Cahill. But no, I'm excited about Napier, and my coworker Dave Rigger, he's the voice of the JMU Dukes. He's got a chance to sit down with Napier and chat with him and talk with the training staff. And this is the first year also that they have a full on personnel department strictly for recruiting. There aren't other jobs attached to it. There are dudes that are just straight up, that is what they're doing. They've got their diagnostics and how they're ranking people mainly by height, speed, all that. And if it fits in that category, then they work on the tape and all of that. So we never had that before. So to have that is huge. He's bringing, I think this guy's going to be a stud. Robert Bala, who is another Alabama coach. He was on the Bama staff there, and he was also with Napier in Florida. So we've had good luck with former Bama coaches recently. Even Colin Hitchler, who was the defensive coordinator this past year. I think that guy is a fantastic, phenomenal guy, and I think if he hadn't gone to UCLA, I would have loved to have had him as the head coach here. But yeah, I mean, honestly, around here, I would say some of JMU Nation gets a little cocky. We say the thing oh, we don't rebuild, we retool, we're good, or we reload. And yeah, they got a bunch of guys in the transfer portal, and that's kind of how you have to do it in mid-major football now. But reached into Division II, Division III to get some guys. I mean, we got some huge dudes on the offensive line, 6'8", 320, 6'7", 315.
Some beef. That's great.
Oh yeah, yeah. They've been calling it the Shenandoah Wall, the Great Wall of Shenandoah.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. The spring game has already been announced, so that's going to be April 25th. So definitely going to be there to watch that.
Excellent. It's a good day. It's my birthday. Yeah. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, perfect.
My cousin's birthday too.
Hey, it's a great day.
Right
now, all you need is a light jacket, not too hot, not too cold. So there you go. Right. So for your miscongeniality fans.
By the way, Mr. Riley, your boys JMU win 67-65 over.
Heck yeah.
Coastal. At least the Chanticleers. Am I right about that? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Chanticleers, but
Chanticleers.
Chanticleer.
Yeah, Chant. Yeah.
Davis with 22 points. This kid from East Carolina put up 31 in a losing effort. They win by 2, 67-65. So nice to see that. They seem to be a pretty solid program in both football and basketball too. Unlike my Syracuse Orange, it's been a very rough season for Syracuse. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Actually, I saw. who was it? There was a former player that was saying that Carmelo needs to have more of a say in what happens inside that building. He's like, it's got his name on it.
It does. The building does have his name on it. Well, the whole thing is, so his son is not his father, right? So Carmelo comes in out of the Baltimore area, like a top player in the nation, like consensus top 3, top 5 in that draft class, and or the recruiting class. And his son is just not the same ilk of player, at least not yet. I mean, he comes in, I think he was in between like a 3 and 4 star, but like a guy who looks like he's gonna probably stay at Syracuse all 4 years unless he develops a little bit more. And just because of that, because of who he is, he's been benched a lot. Like there was a game recently, I think they played North Carolina, the Tar Heels, in which he got no minutes. He didn't even come off the bench in any capacity. So there's now, because Carmelo was such a beloved figure, and for good reason. Like I said, his name is on the building. He won the only championship in school history. Now there's the fan base is calling for Gene Autry's head, the head coach. So that's not always the best situation, but I will say this: you guys continue both from football carrying into basketball season. JMU continues to net me wins in the betting space. So
okay, all right,
I like that. But what I do want to do is, if we can, I wanted to just spend a little bit of time talking some basketball on a bigger, on a whole, on the national level, if we could. So as we know, we're getting through like middle of Feb. March Madness will be here before you know it. So looking at the latest AP top 25 and the coaching rankings, you got some perennial powers. Obviously Arizona, albeit they just lost 2 games in the last week. So that's going to definitely, and I think that's already, they've taken a hit from the consensus 1 seed. Even after that first loss, they were still there. They've moved down. But Michigan's looking very strong. Duke is always a big contender. UConn's in the top 5. Purdue seems like they're making a run at some point. All those teams have dominant resumes, marquee wins, and then obviously elite talent. Other teams are surging, due to cohesion, depth, and just the way that they're able to, kind of work as a team. So, what factors, whether it be strength of schedule, experience, coaching, if you're picking maybe like a top, 1, 2, or maybe 3 teams that you like to come out, to go to the top this year through March Madness, who are you liking that you've seen?
Oh man, that's tough. But I got to say, and it's probably because he's got a connection to JMU, having been a former coach there, but Vanderbilt has been extremely impressive, and I would not be surprised to see them make a run. Coach Byington has got that team really humming right now, and so I'm going to pull for them. I mean, UVA's looking pretty good too. Coach Odom coming from my VCU Rams. That one hurt to see him go, but
just down 64, just a little bit. That one's tough.
Yeah, but he's doing good stuff with UVA right now, and they are crushing Georgia Tech right now. I'm looking at the score; it is 24-6. Yeah, but I mean, Kansas is always a team that I think can make a good deep run. Depends on the guy. Oh my gosh, he's going to be the first overall draft pick. Peterson, right? Yeah, I think it depends on how good he plays for sure. But I mean, Arizona's not completely out of it either. Yes, they lost, but I wouldn't put it past them to string a few games together and really play solid. I haven't really been paying attention to many mid-majors outside of JMU and my VCU Rams in the A10. I'm very impressed with how the Rams have been playing lately. I'll tell you that. I think they've been, they had some growing pains with Coach Martelli Jr. But man, he's getting them in the right spots now, and I think they've got the right roster. And Laser Djokovic is like, oh my gosh, that guy's he's a little streaky, but when he's on, he is on. And Tyrell Ward's been playing fantastic, and Nick Lewis was just named the A10 Rookie of the Week. So yeah, I mean, lots to look forward. Feeling good about my VC Rams, but they always get kicked out in in the first round, so I wouldn't
Right.
bet on them if you're doing your March Madness brackets. I know that hurts for me, but the pragmatist in me is like, don't go for that one.
Yeah. Real quick. So, Vandy,
yeah,
depending on which ranking you're looking at, Vandy's either 19 or 18, respectively, on the AP versus coaches poll. UVA at 14 currently. It's sitting at 22-3 on the year. They're within striking distance. And two teams I really like, actually. I like Iowa State. The Cyclones are always good. They're great. I have to hear a lot about Duke, who just put up, I think Syracuse lost to them by, the spread was 20. All the so-called experts said, take Syracuse for the points. I was not sold. They ended up beating us by about 35. So just saw Duke smoke Syracuse. I mean, Michigan's good. There's, at this point, the only undefeated team, which you talk about mid-majors, a team that I actually bet on last night and they won, is Miami of Ohio. In that MAC conference.
Okay.
25-0 as of right now. So, could they be the Cinderella? I don't know, but I do like VCU. I will say VCU has that. It's obviously a pedigree team that they're always there, and they seem to be like a potentially great bet to go far. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them make a little bit of a run this year.
And Shannon, friend of the show on the Sports Brew Pod, thanks for tuning in, of course. And yeah, and it looks like he agrees VCU has been getting better and better all season. So, hey, it could be 2011 all over again. No one's going to say that can't happen.
I mean, hey, they won last night celebrating 2011's team. So beat the George Washington Revolutionaries pretty handily last night. So that's always good. And they beat Richmond both times this year. And so, my parents went to U of R, so it gives me a little bit, more joy.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
to see them go.
As somebody who even went to U of R for a grad program, I mean, I got no dog in the fight anyway. I mean, it wasn't a huge draw for me. I mean, I'm still just by default, just because of my family, I'll gravitate more towards UVA, of course, because my wife, and then by proxy, even JMU again, not only through you, of course, but through other family here as well. So still, thanks for going down that rabbit hole for college basketball, Riley. But now, kind of shifting things over. You had your very first this past NFL season, your very first Bills game that you got to go to at the old Highmark Stadium. Yes, yes. You got to go to your very first Bills game at the old Highmark Stadium, and I'm glad you got it in the last season. But then you also got to experience your first tailgate, too. Tell us some of your favorite parts of that, because obviously the game left you on a little bit of a roller coaster ride throughout that, because then New Orleans Saint, future Buffalo Bill, Brandon Cooks, even though he had some dropsies then, he didn't exactly get rid of those when the time mattered the most. But still, tell us about that day when you got to go to that Saints game and a beautiful 1 p.m. kickoff, one of those very sought-after times for Bills fans.
It was a fantastic day. I had a blast. I was there with my cousins. We're tailgating. We're having good food. The guy that we were with, he likes to make different foods themed on who they're playing that week. So he made some.
Did you do the jambalaya?
He called it jambalaya, but honestly, it was much more a Low Country boil. It's not quite the same, but it was still good food. But I mean, the atmosphere at Highmark was phenomenal. Mitch Morse was the legend that day. So that was pretty awesome. I mean,
solid,
I got chills.
Right
there. Yeah. I got chills when he, did the "Where else would you rather be than right here, right now." I mean, that was almost like a religious experience for me. To root for this team for so long, to finally get to go there in the final season, and to see them win. Yeah, it was definitely an up and down game. But I got to see an awesome touchdown and run from Khalil Shakir, who caught like one of those little tunnel screens and took 50 yards to the house.
One of those very controversial tunnel screens that many people had opinions about throughout the year. So, but still, that was one of the times where it worked great.
Yeah, that was one of the times where it did. It worked fantastic. And, Cole Bishop had his first interception, I think, of the year on that one in that game. And
a Chris Olave throw.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, and that probably is why he picked it off. But still, it was.
They all count.
Yeah, exactly. And and watching that game was just awesome. I was in like the corner route in the 100 level. Like I paid a little bit extra for those seats, but I wanted to be close to the field.
Worth it every time.
Yeah. And we had a blast, and definitely one of the best days of my life.
Hey, so. right there. And next year you get to help christen in the new stadium, because that's obviously
house that Josh built.
Yep, yeah, coming up as we speak. No kidding. The house that Josh built, indeed. I mean, and it's there guaranteed for at least the next 30 years as their home. But yeah, obviously the Bills, they didn't exactly have the season go the way they wanted to, as we've talked about countlessly for hours on here already. But of course, you have differing perspectives across all of Bills Mafia. So, Riley, what are your thoughts on how the Bills season ended, whether it be the game in Denver happening the way it was? We talked about Brandon Cooks and the infamous no catch on there, which we can all agree that
was 100% a catch.
That was 100% a catch, and then because you saw the next two instances of that in playoff games afterwards, obviously, where it went into the receiver's favor, and then also like the what many thought was the shocking firing of Sean McDermott just a couple of days later, and then the Brandon Beane promotion, the Joe Brady hiring, and the very infamous press conference with Brandon Beane and Terry Pegula. What were your takes on how all of that played out? Like I said, even like just how you were feeling during that Denver game, and just everything about that, and just how there's really like a big changing of the guard per se for the Bills now that Joe Brady's in charge with the in-house promotion, and just maybe even just your takes on what you think of him, the coaching staff he's brought in, and just kind of go from there. What are your thoughts again as just now just being fully invested into Bills Mafia like you've never been before?
Yeah. Well, I would say as far as like the hiring of Joe Brady, at first I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was not happy with it. I wanted us to go for an outside hire. I figured, this is just kind of like same old Bills. They're just gonna, go with what's safe.
Exactly.
But and I was completely baffled as to how McDermott lost his job, but Beane still kept his and then got a promotion. And then, I watched that press conference, and I was a little bit more at ease after hearing like what Brandon Beane had said. Worried as hell about what.
That. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Terry, I was like, oh boy, what are you saying?
Microphone ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
If he had said, can I interrupt and can I answer this one? Like, no, you cannot, Terry.
No, and you should not.
Yeah. And I mean, I loved the introduction press conference with Joe Brady. He won me over in that, because
his energy was infectious the entire time.
His energy, his true like feelings, you could really see how much it meant to him, how much being a part of the Bills means to him, and how much he wants to get it done here. And I loved the idea of his philosophy, especially on defense, being a much more attacking style defense, because I did love McDermott. I loved what he did for the Bills. I always was like pulling my hair out in those games at the end where it's like, why are you still reacting? Like, make a, that was watching the Denver game, even like that catch that by Cortland Sutton, on what was it, third down? And that was a huge third down that got them to continue their drive. And I think that led to a touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, that was the one to Mims, right?
Yes, it was. And it was one of those cases, again, you talked about the philosophical shift from a McDermott defense to now a Jim Leonhard one. The bend but don't break defensive philosophy, where you're just giving up tiny little chunk plays that finally had its last moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and being like, can we hang on? Let's not play like that.
Yeah, exactly. And being a JMU fan, their defensive has always been very like attack based. It's not the 3-4 style, but it's an aggressive defense. Simple scheming wise, but they're always getting after it and getting to the quarterback and stuff, and that's never been an issue. So yeah, it's frustrating when the Bills are just kind of almost playing prevent like most of the game, even though that's not what they're doing. But I'm excited to see what Jim Leonard brings. I'm excited to see the different like archetypes that he's going to bring in, because it's going to be a totally different model of players that we're looking for in free agency, especially at linebacker and defensive end. I'm excited about that because I don't know if you guys have been watching film on R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. I'm in love with that guy. I want him, like, yes, he played at Oklahoma, and I do see like Nick Bonito vibes. I know he's not the exact same player, and I'm not trying to, just look at the helmet, but the way that they play is very similar. They're both kind of undersized. Bonito's been a baller for Denver.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sure.
to get a guy like that on the Bills' new and improved defense, I think that'll be great.
On a rookie contract, nonetheless.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
the same Nick Bonito, of course, and one of the more infamous plays of that Denver game, where Khalil Shakir was supposed to be the lead blocker on him, causing Deion Dawkins to whiff after that, leading to that Allen fumble as he was hit on his blind side. So that was a rough one. All Nick Bonito right there, like you were saying. But having somebody on the edge like him, or even just being like one of these linebackers that are coming through this draft cycle, it's supposed to be an excellent one for, again, defense and linebackers. So, I mean, this might be the time, especially if you're going to have that shift to a 3-4 defense, and that aggressive mentality could really come to fruition there. And, I mean, a lot of Bills fans would love to see that. Again, the defense, I mean, say what you will about how McDermott and Bobby Babich handled things. Like, they were able to at least get it together more often than not in the second half, but obviously not when it mattered most, especially in the playoffs these last couple of years. So I'm genuinely excited, like you are, Riley, when it comes to the Jim Leonard hiring. We were talking about that, like, as leading into his hiring, like, will they or won't they kind of thing? Will they win almost like, you don't want to say a sweepstakes, because it's so much is left to be had for how the defense will actually play, the personnel, things of that nature. But you mentioned how there's going to be a lot of not only schematic changes, but new players coming in too.
Oh, yeah.
So lots of holes that are going to be needing to get filled on there, because a lot of Bills going to be last year's Bills players are going to be free agents. You got Joey Bosa, who was on a 1-year deal. Daquan Jones, his deal has expired. Matt Milano, he's now going to be a free agent. Shaq Thompson, who was a really big, pleasant surprise, free agent. Trey White, as much as he was a pleasant surprise, he's on a 1-year deal. I mean, hopefully that gives a little bit more of a runway for Maxwell Hairston, as long as he's healthy, to come back and really take the job and run with it too. And also Virginia Tech guy Dorian Strong, hopefully that procedure he had for his neck was able to help him and be able to come back fully healthy. So again, adding some depth to that cornerback room. But I mean, and you could also say the same thing for players that have also been around for a while. DeMar Hamlin, granted, he turned into more of a depth guy. I mean, he very well could be on his way out. Taylor Rapp, I know a lot of Bills fans would be happy to see him go, particularly just based on his play, despite probably very likely playing injured compared to the season prior. But still, so many holes on defense, and you just got to wonder, not to mention the fact that the Bills have to make a significant amount of moves to make sure not only are they salary cap compliant, but they also need to make sure they can spend or make some of these deals to bring some guys in. So you could even argue this on the offensive side of the ball, because you got players like Connor McGovern at center and David Edwards at your left guard, right next to Deion Dawkins. They're also going to be potentially heading out the door, unless one of those guys, or maybe even both potentially, in a very miraculous way of happening, if both of them could even come back, because there is still some level of continuity with the offensive line coach still having ties to Aaron Kromer, the new one that was hired in from Pittsburgh, and they had the assistant offensive line coach still being in place there. But, Riley, this could be in a perfect world situation right here, whether it's a free agent that you know of. You mentioned maybe some guys you're looking at for the draft already. I mean, who are some people that you'd have your eye on this year for the Bills to maybe take a look at? Again, feel free to shoot for the moon, or maybe even be more conservative in your moves on here, but who are some guys you kind of had your eye on?
For us?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, honestly, I want him to keep Shaq Thompson. I want him to try to bring back Shaq Thompson. He brought stability to that linebacking room. And I know that it's been up and down. Milano's always hurt. He's a stud when he's playing, but he's always hurt. He was a little bit better this year.
Yeah, and plus they're aging out too. I mean, you could say the same thing. Jordan Poyer, as much as he brought stability at the safety position, because after that you never knew who was going to be lining up alongside Cole Bishop. But Milano and Deion Dawkins drafted the same year. Deion Dawkins, obviously, his game is able to age a little bit better because he's an offensive lineman. But Milano, like you said, he's just been perpetually beat up year after year.
Yeah, and I think it also has something to do with the fact that, he is so undersized as a linebacker, and he's quick. And we definitely saw that when he was younger, but wear and tear is definitely catching up to him for sure. I hear a lot. I listen to the Air Raid Hour, another Bills podcast, and I follow so many different Bills Twitter accounts and stuff like that. And one name that I keep seeing is Leo Chenal. Who we know from having to play against him
in Kansas City. Yes.
Yeah. And, he's a kind of a Swiss Army knife. I think he would be a solid linebacker that would help not to mention he's a former Wisconsin linebacker.
That's exactly right. Jim Leonard guy.
Leonard. Yeah. So, if you could get him, or even, I think I saw there was talk maybe about trying to get Nick Herbig. I didn't think he was a free agent, so I don't know how that would happen unless it was they cut him and you pick him up or something like that. But and then there's the other. He's kind of bounced around a little bit, but he's another Wisconsin linebacker. I think the last team that he was on was the Bears, and he might stay on the Bears. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he's played for the Eagles. He's played for Cowboys too, and the Bears, and been around. But I guess linebacker, I would like to see Chenal. I think that would probably be a nice get. As far as defensive tackles go, I've seen a lot of talk about John Franklin Myers. But I've also seen, DJ Reader as a guy that we've talked about for previous off seasons, previous seasons, and wanted to get him on the Bills. There are a lot of guys. It seems like those same dudes are the same people that you want now, but they're actually more of a scheme fit now too. So,
right. Absolutely.
As far as safety goes, I think it'd be really cool if we could get Reed Blankenship from the Eagles.
That'd be wild.
He is he's not under contract anymore, so he'll be a free agent if I'm not mistaken. And
he's a UFA.
Yeah. So to get him, that would be huge. I think he could also teach Cole a little bit. He could also give Cole a little bit more swagger too.
For sure,
although I'm sure that Cooper DeJean's going to be telling Philly to do whatever they can to keep Reed there, but
for sure,
that's his boy. But that would be really cool. As far as linebackers, I even saw that they were talking about possibly letting Tremaine Edmonds go.
I mean, in a 3-4, he might be better suited. I mean, he doesn't even need to be the green dot guy. I think if he's solely going to be an edge guy, or say just a outside linebacker, which is what he was at Virginia Tech, I think he honestly would be better suited for that. And shocker, he's still not you could say in his athletic
26
prime
or something, right?
Yeah, because he was 19 when he was drafted. I mean, it was always a running gag or a joke that Tremaine Edmonds is perpetually young. And I know we have a friend of ours, Brian, who always tunes in. He's our resident Bears fan and expert, of course. But he was always hoping and wanting to see more out of Tremaine Edmonds anyway, as far as splash plays.
I feel like he probably just Brian regrets that contract. I'm going to assume.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
mean, it could make sense in a way as long as you deploy him the right way.
Dollar amount.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to break the bank for him. But safety that I wouldn't mind also, besides Blankenship, is another former Bear, Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State. I remember I loved him out of Penn State and thinking, oh man, the Bills should draft him. And Brisker, I think, would be a solid, like, because I think he's more of a strong safety than he is a free safety, and I know that's probably more what Cole does too.
Yeah, you have Bishop on the island back there.
Yeah, he can Bishop can play a little bit more free if he was able to have somebody like Brisker there.
Right, definitely. Exactly. And Bishop can play like that center field position. Like we've seen it. I don't know. Some people would probably say, I don't know if I want him to play that. I'd rather have, I've been looking at more like free safety in the draft. Like that's what I've been really focusing on is some of those guys. But as far as free agents go right now, and I also know that we're kind of up against the cap too. Sure. You got to move all kinds of money around, and I'm sure there's probably going to be some players that get cut. The Rat might be one of them. Teron Johnson might be one of them. He might not.
Right. I mean, even what Jim Leonard said about him already. I mean, he might even get a shift over to safety just to kind of maybe preserve his game a little bit more. I mean, because in a 3-4, you're not as likely to see somebody lining up in the nickel spot at corner, and you're definitely going to be featured more as a linebacker. So, I mean, Teron Johnson, he might have future life as maybe in the safety position, but at the same time, you just never know what you're going to get. He had a rough year this year based on what he had gave up in coverage. I mean, he was also somebody like fighting a lot of nagging injuries. Again, age catching up to him a little bit as well, but he also played a physical brand of football. He was always just blasting guys almost to his own detriment because it often led to him getting injured as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how many concussions has that guy had?
Right. He's not a big guy. He's a small guy. I mean, so like with the five, cut, maybe, but I think I'd rather have a bigger body guy back there.
Yeah. The obviously the other one that's always perpetually talked about, and anybody in Bills Mafia or Bills fandom, is the wide receiver position. And again, leaving much of that up for or leaving much to be desired there, of course. I mean, say what you will about Brandon Cooks and what he did. I mean, he at least opened up a lot in the passing game once he arrived. I mean, yes, he obviously had some very unfortunate drops in a few instances, of course. But I mean, I've heard a lot of differing opinions of him. But I mean, as somebody who would likely be a cheap veteran option, you're not going to be paying this guy a ridiculous salary. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back. He'd be a great character guy for the locker room. Has a lot of experience. He's played in 2 Super Bowls. Unfortunately, didn't win either of them. But at the same time, he has that on his resume.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not be opposed to bringing him back. Furthermore, like everybody's like, oh, are the Bills going to maybe go down in the trade market? You're seeing mock trade ideas, like you're sending Keon Coleman in a first for Brian Thomas Jr.
Maybe on the market. Jettas,
AJ
Brown.
Just like, do you have a favorite one of those, Riley? Do you have a favorite
dream scenarios? Yes.
Oh man, one that I've seen, and I'm not sure if I'm okay with it because some people are getting really excited over the idea that we could trade for Marvin Harrison Jr. and get him, and I don't know if I've seen enough that I'd be like, yeah, absolutely go for him. I'd rather have Brian Thomas than Marvin Harrison Jr., even though Brian Thomas has also kind of been up and down this past year.
Right. But his game didn't get unlocked until Jacoby Myers showed up for Jacksonville last year.
Yeah, those guys have rookie deals, though. I will say that that idea, those cost guys more compared to those $20+ million guys, I like.
Yeah.
And conversely, you also have another Eagles guy, AJ Brown, and from what you're seeing in rumors, like again, you have. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before, and I know. I think you asked me about this last week, Sean. Somebody did. And do you want to deal with the character stuff? I mean, yes, you dealt with that a little bit already with Stephon Diggs, but I mean, if you're just there to be like, hey, I'm going to throw you the ball, you're going to get somewhere in the range of over 1,000 yards, and you're going to get right around the range of 100 catches. I mean, if you're just going to have this be a very workman-like relationship here, I mean, sure, we're already used to that now with Diggs. I mean, if you're just looking for just the bang for your buck, I mean, especially if he would be going from the NFC to an AFC potential team right there. I mean, I'm getting more what's the phrase I'm looking for? I'm getting more convinced that it could be something that could work. I heard on Chopin the Bulldog, I think it was the other day, Bulldog was mentioning how he wouldn't be as afraid of the character anymore. Like if they have like the sole intention of winning, like who cares? Like winning solves everything.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you already are going to be able to establish some type of a good locker room culture, again, a lot of the McDermott guys are still there. They know what it takes to make sure a locker room is going to thrive. I mean, why would somebody like an A.J. Brown like really throw a big wrench into things too? And if say that happens and then he turns into a nuclear warhead like an Antonio Brown would be, then I'll eat my words maybe in November, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember I loved A.J. Brown out of college at Ole Miss. I mean, he's such an interesting.
Didn't he play with DK?
He did. Yeah. Yes, they were teammates. They took like that mirror shot of both of them just looking like chiseled Greek gods and shirtless right before their draft.
Yeah, like they're what you would build a wide receiver to look like on Madden, essentially.
In a laboratory, even.
Yeah, in a laboratory. And I mean, I think out of all of those wide receivers, A.J. Brown is who I would want. Because yes, he might cost more, but he is more proven than Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brian Thomas Jr. Like, he is also a dog. When you hit him, you feel it. Like, so if you're feeding him as a wide receiver, I mean, he's almost built like a running back to an extent, like with how he's like 6'1", 225 or something like that. Like, he's
not quite Derrick Henry stature, but pretty damn big.
Yeah. I mean, thick for a wide receiver, I would say. Not thick like Deebo Samuel, but like
that's a whole different kind of thick. That's thick with 2 C's.
Right. But no, I think Brown could bring something different because he's a physical receiver and he can win down the field. I think he's definitely that alpha dog that would help Josh immensely. That we've been looking for ever since Diggs left, and I'm a little worried about what the receivers are going to be like under Brady because I know he said that he still plans on doing a lot of screens, and it's like.
Right.
Okay, but are we actually going to throw it downfield too? Yeah. And I know that there was also some talk I can't remember which conversation he had. It might have been after the actual press conference when he was just chatting with the local press. But he said he didn't exactly say that McDermott held him back, but he ran the offense the way that McDermott wanted him to run it, not
Right.
So
don't turn the ball over. Don't take chances.
Right. So, you can move it down the field a little bit more. Honestly, the thing about A.J. Brown too is that really scares me is that he could end up with the Patriots. And I really do not want that to happen.
Yeah, no.
I do not want Drake May and A.J. Brown destroying us like Tom Brady did with whoever back then. I do not want that.
Yeah.
We had friends from WGR on last week. Shout out to Derek and Zach once more. Kind of talking about the same thing, how the Bills are going to be ultimately in competition with the Patriots going into next year because, again, while the Patriots did show that they can contend with throughout the playoffs, albeit with a little bit of luck, say what you will, they made it. They won the games they had to win. I mean, and people can hate all they want. I know we're definitely those people, but still – they are going to be a desirable location. They have the quarterback on the rookie contract. I mean, they might offload some guys just to maybe retool the roster, but that is going to be a desirable location. I mean, you're already seeing things in the rumor mill
great coach.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he is a great coach as much as we might, again, be haters, of course, but still.
You want coach of the year.
Exactly. But you have people coming out of the woodwork, maybe somebody like Max Crosby saying, I would love to play for Mike Vrabel. Obviously, that's a trade they would have to make happen and make sure they have the salary cap space too, of course, which they do. But still, people are going to want to go to the Patriots. Yes, you have MVP like on his resume, Josh Allen, but again, they have a little bit of goodwill to regain, not only with the new head coach and Joe Brady, but still they need to show people that they can finally get over the hump and convince players to be actually willing to come in and be like, hey, you can be the missing piece. And Josh Allen can only do so much recruiting himself. And there needs to just be some level of aggressiveness, more so on Brandon Beane than ever before. And a lot of shows and content creators out there have already said, with Beane this offseason, like, there maybe needs to be a little bit more urgency. I mean, yes, he did technically get the promotion, but I mean, you're running out of prime years of Josh Allen. I mean, that's also been said on countless numbers of takes. But if they're really going to try and maximize what they can out of him and get as many weapons as they can, like, now's the time to be aggressive. Like, whether it's trading first-round picks, whether it's trading rostered players to get something really excellent in return, like, now's the time to act, especially with Kansas City maybe coming back with a vengeance. You never know. I mean, yes, the Bengals the last couple of years didn't exactly make the playoffs, but it took every bit of that entire game for the Bills to beat the Bengals and a couple of Joe Burrow turnovers to make that happen. So, and not to mention Baltimore, they're going to be coming back pissed off as ever with the way their season ended.
With a new coach, with something to prove.
Yep, same thing. So all these AFC teams that are still there, now you also have the Patriots. Now you also have the Broncos in there. I mean, the Jaguars, they didn't go away easily either for the Bills. So the AFC, again, wide open because of how much competitiveness there's already there.
Yeah, the top AFC teams, it's a lot. There's a lot of parity within those teams. And the one thing that, I said I was definitely worried about, AJ Brown, but I'll tell you another thing that worries me is, will players be willing to come to Buffalo when so many players have voiced their opinion on the training staff? If we saw that report card came out, and
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
And there were so many injuries this past year. And you gotta, as a player, you gotta look out for yourself, and make sure that you can get as much money as you can, and that you can, get as many years out of your body as you can, because this is a temporary gig, essentially, and that would worry the hell out of me if I was a player and I was like, well, oh no, man, there's a lot of injuries that happen to your team. Like, is this a fluke? Is this something? And then when you see that a lot of players were like, well, actually, this is kind of an issue. But I saw
you brought that up again. Yeah, but I'm actually glad you brought him up too, to circle back to the injuries.
Yeah.
They were one of the top 5 teams in man games lost due to injury this year. Again, tying that back to the training staff. I mean, was there a disconnect with Sean McDermott? Was there a disconnect somewhere with Brandon Beane? Was there something that just wasn't done before that might change going into this upcoming season? Maybe. But at the same time, if they are going to continue to have the same training staff, something's got to change. But I do know exactly what you're about to talk about with the John Feliciano thing. Feel free to let it rip.
Yeah. I mean, he said that he also, they talked about travel being another issue, but he did say that there are some stars, there are some studs in the training room. They just need a chance to shine. So I'm not sure what's happening with them, but hopefully those people that he mentioned, I can't remember the names right off the top of my head, but hopefully they do get better opportunity this season. And yeah, I mean, we definitely got bit by the injury bug majorly.
Every year it seems to be for a stretch of time, like in the middle of the season too.
It's always a crucial time.
I do want to get I have one more question before I know Chris probably wants to move on to a different segment. But I wanted to see if either one of you guys noticed this. I'm sure you might have. Did you guys see, talking about the whole receiver thing? And I mentioned Justin Jefferson. Obviously played with or under Joe Brady. Credited Joe Brady with his hands being so good. And then he was asked during the Super Bowl week on Media Radio Row about he's building your team. Basically like picking the players, and he picks Joe Brady, gets the Bills as his first pick. Doesn't say Josh Allen. He says Joe Brady as my coach. You guys find that interesting? I mean, what are the odds? I know a lot of salary cap ramifications that would have to work with that move in particular, but the guy's still elite top 3 receiver in the game.
Hands down.
Love Josh.
And he even put, I think, up over 1,000 yards despite that horrendous quarterback play they had there with McCarthy being in and out with his injuries and all the guys they had as far as backups go, even with Carson Wentz there too. But still, oof.
As a baller, man.
I mean, you're guaranteed to at least get that out of him at bare minimum, even if it's not even that good of a year for him. But
I would
close
say
to the circle on the Diggs trade, by the way, too.
That'd be nuts, yes, because he was that pick.
It would close the circle on the Diggs trade, and that would be very cool. It would be very poetic, to see that happen. And I think in a dream scenario, I would love to see them swing for the fences, and I don't care how many draft picks it takes.
Right.
I mean, hey, look what the Rams have done. They're like F them picks,
right? They're back.
And so I think I say and not to mention our first few rounds of picks, with the exception of James Cook and Cole Bishop, haven't been great.
Right.
So just screw the picks.
Commodity.
Yeah.
Especially if there's talk where they're trying to maybe go NBA mode, and you could get up to 5 years in advance of being able to trade picks that far. So, I mean, you could trade out
would you do it as a Bills fan? What we've been through as fans, would you sell your soul to win one? I would.
Oh, of course.
I would.
I don't know about selling my soul. Well, I don't know about selling my soul.
In terms of would you send 5 firsts out? I don't know if we do that, but you send 3 out?
Depends on the guy.
If it's for Justin Jefferson, I would say
Defensively, you could say the same for Myles Garrett or somebody of that caliber.
Or Max Crosby, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Game changer,
yeah. So on that, lots to talk about with the Bills too, of course. But before we move on to something a bit more upbeat and even exciting, let's get into our sponsor from DraftKings Sportsbook. So they are an official sports betting partner of the NHL, and they are built for the fastest game on ice with player props and live betting. Every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. So one thing I was looking up earlier, according to the latest odds for DraftKings, I was looking up the odds for the Sabres to make the playoffs again. They are currently a minus 380 for yes on there. It is plus money for the Sabres currently right now for no, they will not make it. But at the same time, 25 games to go. I've heard a couple takes saying hey, play some 500 hockey getting into these this last stretch of games once things resume next week after the Olympics conclude this weekend. I mean, Tage still has a chance to get gold, of course. Obviously rooting for him there. Hoping Dahlin with that let's just say, annoying hit from Brady Tkachuk comes out all right. But still, getting back into the side on DraftKings too, of course, again. So for you folks looking at the futures for the Sabres for this season, minus 384, yes, to make the playoffs. But anyway, so new customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. And gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. So, with that also, again, Sean, take it away for our Sabres.
Yeah. Riley, Sabres been on a warpath a little bit this year, even though last couple games going into the Olympic break, there's a little bit of a downward trajectory. I mean, it's hard to really be too mad about them when they've won, I think 20 out of 23 at one point in that stretch. Mm-hmm. So dealing with some injuries, dealing with some up and down play, definitely on defense, specifically the third line, Bryson, Kesselring, maybe with an injury. So I guess, when we first talked to you, or talked to you last, we were kind of doing, predictions and what we had a thought of the season. So now that we're about 25 games out. We're going down the stretch heading into a trade deadline. What have you seen from the team this year, and kind of what is your outlook now? How have things adjusted in your mind?
I would say if I were Kevin Adams, I would be like, "What the heck?
Right?
Why didn't you do this when I was there?"
Right? Is he still eligible for GM of the year? By the way, should he be?
That would be amazingly ironic.
It would be. It would be. I mean, I rejoiced when I saw that he got fired, and when they finally made Yarmo the new GM, and I think I don't know. It's so weird because really Yarmo hasn't really done much roster wise, like building, things. I mean, he got rid of some coaches, but and brought in a new scout, from the Lightning, right?
Yeah, he filled up the front office staff. He brought in Marc Bergevin from he was on the LA Kings, but he was a previous GM for Montreal, and he also brought in one of his former executives with Columbus. So he's rounding out some of his staff there.
There was another guy too, though, from Tampa as well. I think you're right about that.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So it's interesting because we haven't really gotten to see him during really wheel and deal and whatnot, but you gotta wonder how much did the team hate this guy, because as soon as he gets fired, it's just a totally different team. The vibes are all great in the locker room. They're playing with this tenacity that you haven't seen the Sabres play with in the past, I don't know, 6 years, pretty much, probably since
or more.
Or more, pretty much since Kevin Adams was started off as GM, and maybe even before that when Botterill was there. But yeah, that it has been exciting to see. First off, the city get excited about the Sabres again.
Oh yeah.
Talking to my family about it, and my cousin, he's in the Navy Reserves, but he's over in Djibouti right now, doing some active duty out there in Djibouti, and I've texted him every once in a while, and it's how cool is this, man? The Sabres are actually winning right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. So it's been awesome. I'm a little worried about, not worried, but concerned as to what is going to happen with Alex Tuch.
Glad you brought that up, because I figured he is such a key piece for what they're going to do this offseason, or how they're even going to handle it in season if they sign him or if they don't. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on him?
I don't think you can move him this year. I think you play out the rest of the season with that guy, because he's really, I know he's from Syracuse, but yeah, he grew up loving the Bills, right, and the Sabres, and the fact that he's playing for not his hometown team, but pretty damn close,
right.
and
the team and coach he grew up watching,
right. Yeah, and that's been awesome too, to see the turnaround for Ruff, to really see it working out now. Because I know at one point he said, he was like, oh yeah, they thought I was just going to come here and just kind of take a paycheck and then retire. But no, he still really wants to coach, and he's still proven that he's got it, and these guys believe in him too. But as far as Tuch goes, yeah, you got to keep him on the team for this. But I don't know what to do with him in the offseason. I feel like he might have been, he's playing so well right now that he might have been priced out of Buffalo. I don't know, because there are some other pieces that you need to get. But so many of our prospects are playing well now and getting positive minutes. And I mean, Ostlund coming up and playing the way he has this season, and even Hellenius coming in and playing a few games. He's proven that he's pretty much ready. And
damn shame about Yuri Kulik at the moment with whatever the blood count issue is,
right.
And
he may come back.
You don't know when he's coming back, because you don't know what type of recovery timeline that even looks like. So
yeah, but I think the last time that we talked, I said we're probably going to go another year without making the playoffs, but
right.
I got that hope that we can make it this year. And even Alex said in an interview, he's like, we're going for the cup. Like there's no,
we're not trying to
they
back
really
into the
believe
playoffs. Yeah, we're going for the cup, is what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you see that these guys have really bought in. There's like a new I wouldn't say I guess it's a new confidence even in Tage too.
For sure.
Like he feels,
and it's a badge of honor that he's over in Milan right now, just playing the way he is. Got a couple goals, got a couple assists on the to his name right there. He needs more ice time, Mike Sullivan. Right. That one's for you. But when you said that line about Alex Tuch saying, "Hey, we're playing for the cup," what's the best part about that is he didn't get laughed out of the locker room saying that, or even just anybody hearing that. So again, you have this newfound sense of confidence for the team, and you're finally able to, one, take the team seriously, and two, like, carry a lot of the momentum they have. I mean, no matter who they play in the playoffs, any of the teams they'll play in the Eastern Conference will give them a challenge. And again, they have to make it too, of course. So, like, it's likely, again, if they get in as a wild card, they'll play either Tampa or Carolina, but they both show that they can hang with both of them. I mean, even that game, they played one game against Tampa so far. It was a thriller. They gave up an unfortunate goal with like less than a minute to go or something ridiculous like that. Again, a little hazy because it's already been a couple weeks since it happened, but still. The couple times they played Carolina this year, they've been able to, I think, win one, I believe, at home against Carolina. And I also went to the one most recently where they played in Raleigh. I mean, had they not gotten goalied by Brandon Bussey, who's also just phenomenal goalie and great story, by the way.
He goalied the shit out of us that game.
Tage, he had one. He had goal dead to rights, but Bussey just straight robbed him. But still, if you play either one of them in the first round, you're going to be able to hang with them at the very least, and maybe take it all the way down to a game 6 or a 7. So, but still,
even Montreal,
anything can happen.
I mean, Montreal, at this point, they should be trying to fight for the 2nd seed. I mean, I don't know if we could catch Tampa. I mean, we have games head to head against them, so it's possible. But if they can even get into that 2nd seed, I think that would be that's a great season for them.
Not to mention the same thing with Detroit, also fighting their own playoff drought. They're at like about 8 or 9 years themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a friend who's a Detroit Red Wings fan, and they've also when he's like, "Oh yeah, we've really struggled," I'm like, "Yeah, but you also have like one of the greatest hockey players of all, actually multiple of the greatest hockey players of all time,
and a bunch of cups too."
Yeah. So
they were the team of the '90s and early 2000s,
right? Sure. Yeah, I mean Yzerman and Fedorov and
Shanahan.
I mean,
they got Hasek.
Yeah. Oh, that I remember being so. I was so crushed by that. Mm-hmm. I still remember him saying, "I just want to win the cup. I just want to win the cup," and that's where he left. And I was like, as a 9 or 10-year-old boy, I was like crushed.
And he did it literally his first year there. I mean,
that's right. We'll give you guys Slava Kozlov. Oh, okay.
And he had wanted nothing to do with the Sabres.
No,
nothing at
all.
Disinterested.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, but with the
but
go ahead.
Can we talk about Alex Lyon?
Oh, yeah.
He's been a revelation this year. Yeah. My favorite thing about him, and as I have a close friend who's a neighbor of mine just down the street, he is all bought into Lyon and his personality. But my favorite thing is just how real he is with just like how the game ebbs and flows. And he's just like, "Hey, I'm playing great right now, but hey, this could come to a crashing halt at any time," because that's just the nature of how goaltending goes in the NHL. And like, credit to him for just being like cognizant of that, because again, you need the team to obviously play well around it, but man, was he on a heater. Set the record for most consecutive wins in a row for like times he started, which is great. And not to mention the fact he was able to do that with Dominik Hasek in-house that night, which is also pretty dope. So, but Alex Lyon has been a huge reason why the Sabres have done so well. Not to mention the entire goaltending room, with especially 3 of them. Everybody was rolling their eyes when the 3 of them were initially on the roster, but they've all had their moments to.
They've needed all 3 of them. They've all been injured.
They They have. Do you think? I know that. Do you think that they try to get rid of UPL, like try to trade him, and maybe make it a Lyon and Ellis thing?
I think
an off-season move.
Off-season, yeah. I don't.
Yeah, absolutely, an off-season move. Not during the season.
And then you also have to wonder, with Yarmo being there, we've had this conversation a few times. Is Devin Levi even in the plans anymore with the way Ellis has shown he can hang? I mean, yes, he's also shown he's a little bit green around the gills sometimes, and they call him Colton Chaos for how much he likes to play wide.
There's been some whispers, too, about him not maybe being too happy about his standing in position with the organization, basically being fourth on the depth chart.
Oh, Levi, yeah.
You know what? The thing is, it's his job to make them play him. And
right. Outplay any mistakes or any doubt that people may have in you at that point. I mean, he's shown that he can handle like that. He's getting a little bit more of that workload. He's getting some seasoning, as our friend Joey Catalano always likes to say, as he covered the Dallas Stars heavily for a number of years. But still, Devin Levi getting the games that he's getting in right now in Rochester, I think still is only benefiting him, whether he plays for the Sabres or anywhere else. But still, you can imagine why he's feeling a significant level of dissatisfaction just being ultimately the fourth string goalie if he ever even gets called up.
Right. The main piece of a big trade, trading a franchise cornerstone and being the return, thinking that, this is my net. And no, it's not.
Yeah. The run he had a few years ago already just feels like a mirage at this point. It was just literally based on vibes and the fact that like he was coming in hot off the college hockey playoffs.
Yeah.
So and not to mention just continuously winning, like I think it was the Mike Richter Award for best goalie in college hockey too. So again, he's got a lot of great things on his resume, but again, professionally he needs to like up his game still to, again, like we said, prove those doubters wrong. But back to have a full circle on Alex Lyon. I mean, I am glad they have him on a 2-year deal. I think that at the very least he can sustain like what he's currently playing. I think roughly, I know for like a while he's sustained like a 92 save percentage. But I mean, if you could at least be in the 90 or 900 save percentage or above, I mean, that's some decent goaltending right there, which is what the team has just desperately needed for so long. Especially
he doesn't give up rebounds either. Did you guys watch him? He doesn't give up rebounds. That's part of the reason why he doesn't get scored on.
He's on it and he covers them immediately. Sometimes it's too much to a point where like if there's even like momentum where the team could like take it out of the defensive zone and make a rush for it. Like not that he kills the momentum by any means, but still like you said, he plays it safe. And honestly, to his credit, it's been working. UPL, I mean, again, injury concerns, sure, and like you hate to see how he went down to not be able to play for Finland, who is, again, making a current run in the Olympics right now. You'd probably be able to get at least a chance or a sniff at that starter's net because it looked a little rough at first for Finland going into the Olympics. But now they're up against Canada for their next game, so that'll be a hell of a matchup ahead too. Sure. But one last thing before we kind of transition to our final part with the Grind My Gears segment. But any major hopes that you have for the deadline coming up there, Riley? Because again, a lot has been talked about with being able to improve the D-core. I mean, we said this last week when we had Derek Kramer and Zach Jones on. Matthias Samuelsson being the revelation this year, most improved player by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably in the whole league, honestly, not just
100%. Yes. I mean, we were already mentioning like the depth defenseman like Jacob Bryson, obviously leaving a lot to be desired. Kesselring, obviously being hampered by a high ankle sprain, hard to really come back fully 100% this year. And then Zach Metza getting some spot duty in there as well. I mean, have you been dialed in for what could be a potential trade option for the Sabres or what you'd like to see, whether it be on forward or defense?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't really been paying attention. The one that I was hoping that maybe we could get was Panarin. And when I saw that he got traded, I was like, that sucks.
Yeah. And he had a very strict no trade list. I mean, he had to basically say, I'm going to LA or I'm going nowhere. So
Yeah, and resign right away too.
Oh yeah.
Yep, he got an extension. Yes. So
nice. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Part of me is just like, well, just kind of see how the rest of this team vibes, and maybe some of the time off can give a little bit of recovery for some of the hampering injuries on the D core. But I just kind of want to see how the rest of the season works out. Honestly, it's almost like an experimental season,
Right.
So, hey, I'm all for that. If the experimentation leads to, again, a playoff berth for the first time in forever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I had high hopes for Kesselring, and so I'm a little, bummed that he's been kind of hampered all season. But
at the same time, though, you could look at what everybody thought, Josh Doan being the extra piece of that trade.
Right.
Look what he's turned into.
Yeah.
Parlaying that into a 7-year extension, no less.
Right.
Yeah. That was awesome. To see how much he's embraced Buffalo is really cool. Also, can I just say I love how in hockey your nickname is either with an or an E.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's or E. I just know I'm like Donor or Tomer, when it was Pominville, it was Palmer, it's just
I think the only unique one I've seen out of that one, and you could also even argue this could be used as well, is Dolls for Darlene. So
right. Yeah.
But
or even just Raz, but but Dolls, but so many, even Tucky, and and yeah,
so simple.
It is. I've actually thought about asking the JMU hockey players and be like, hey, how do you guys come up with your nicknames? Is it literally just you just add here, or you add E here, or do you is there a science to it, But I'm sure it's just man, we just kind of do it on vibes.
I mean, that makes sense, and it has to be an earned nickname, not just one that you get to pick per se, too. So yeah. Interesting process to see. No, hey. Yeah, like you said, a revelation nonetheless it's just how well he's played. And again, like you said, embracing the Buffalo culture. But now, gentlemen, moving into our weekly Grind My Gears, Give Them Their Flowers segment, brought to you by Larger Than Life Blooms, because size matters. So, as you know, Riley, you've done this once or twice now already yourself. So grind my gears. Feel free to lay some hate for something that's been driving you nuts or are absolutely crazy at this point in time. Or feel free to share some love. Valentine's Day was only a few days removed at this point in time. But I'll start us off because what's been grinding my gears lately is one thing we're going to maybe start dabbling in soon, folks, especially for the viewers on here. And once we figure out what the heck this is going on with this Twitter thing right now for live streaming, that's been a mess. Yes, I know. But at the same time, for those tuning in, we appreciate all you're doing, as always, and for always liking, subscribing, doing all that good stuff for the show. But anyway, one thing we're going to expand on probably in the future is maybe do a little bit of game streaming, watching us squad up with each other, whether it's in Fortnite, maybe watch me struggle in some single-player games that I haven't played at this point in time, because that's always been a passion of mine that I've always been willing to share. But the thing that actually does grind my gears about that whole process is that getting all the materials and equipment for becoming a game streamer, I've found, is a giant baptism by fire. And hey, friend of the show, Justin Green, also of the Sports Brew podcast. Yes, I would be zero build, of course. No thank you to the no building, no thank you. But still, all the process that goes into learning how to become a streamer, like get your capture card, make sure your microphone setup is good, make sure the audio gets through for both the people listening and for yourself so you can hear everything, so you can hear party chat. Like, there is a number of different things that I never thought I'd have to learn just by getting into this. And my God, has it just been racking my brain for making sure I get the process of that right before I even try and get it started. But hey, half the battle is just messing up and just trying to figure it out as you go and having fun with it too. So that has been one thing that's been absolutely grinding my gears, as we can kind of really get into growing the show at this point and expand into a little bit more fun forays for us as well. So you can watch us just be absolute clowns in something like a Fortnite Battle Royale or some other type of multiplayer game. Or again, there we go. And then Justin, again, open up that wallet for gear and spend time on Reddit. Yeah, no kidding. I found out quickly that this stuff is not cheap. So again, baptism by fire. So Riley, what about you? Got anything grinding your gears or some flowers to give?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's grinding my gears is, but I'm also loving it. So I want to give flowers to Babs on the mic on Twitter and the End Fanatics whole movement that is happening on Twitter. I have been Fanatics is not a sponsor, right?
No, they are not. So feel free to just destroy them. No thank you.
I have hated Fanatics for years.
No,
so
let it rip.
To see that there's this whole movement now to really cause some change and end the just mediocrity that we've had in sports merch because of Fanatics has been so awesome. And to see how many other people hate it as much as I do, and that there's this whole like community on Twitter that is just trying to destroy Michael Rubin. I love that.
No, my favorite thing is they issued like the apology, and it just came off as so half-assed.
Oh
and
my gosh,
everybody
yeah.
annihilating them on any social media platform, rightfully so, because their product is absolute trash.
It really is. I mean, I was so distraught when when the NHL chose to do their jerseys and everything through Fanatics. I mean, I was always like, you know what? At least Buffalo's always got New Era. I can go to New Era and I know that they'll make Buffalo Sabres stuff. Even if they don't have a partnership with the NHL, but now they do. So that's good. But I was looking for a new Sabres hat a few years back, and I'm on the Sabres NHL website, their shop, but it's run through Fanatics, and it was just, and I'm very particular about how my hats fit. I don't like Velcro. I can't stand that. I'm not a real dad hat guy either. So when that's like all they've got and like really crappy mesh on the side, and it's just poor quality. So I have
straight trash, homie. Yes, agreed, Justin.
Yeah, straight trash. Absolutely, dude. Yeah, but did you see actually that the Boston Red Sox, they released a statement about their uniforms today, but then they recanted that statement so that they could add another thing about how excited they were to partner with Fanatics for their uniforms. Like it's ridiculous.
What a mess that is. But no, I could not fully agree more on that take, just because, again, they have ruined not only just like the quality of like the product that you're going to get, but ultimately like they are just jacking up the price. They are sky high for just an inferior, very just flimsy, like cheaply made product. And go ahead. Yep.
Well, even I'm a VCU grad, and I wanted to get a new VCU hat, and I tried to buy it through the bookstore, and guess what? It got sent through Fanatics. I didn't know that. So then I get it, and it's sent in a non-hat box. It's like it's smaller, and it's like smashed. And I pull it out, and I'm like, now this hat's gonna have this little dent in it. I don't have one of those machines that can fit it with steam and everything. And I'm like actually looking up getting one of those so I can make sure that I fix the hat. But it's like, why do I even have to do that? Send it in the right packaging. And it's just stuff like that all the time.
No, seriously, like not only would it be better off just like going directly to like the team stores, like say you came back to Richmond and visited family for whatever reason, going to actually like a VCU bookstore would probably be the best way to get it, because not only can you try the hat on that way, but like you could actually like see like, hey, this looks all right. So again, another solid take from Justin. To avoid Fanatics, buy vintage gear. That's a great one. That or lids. Yes, another great one. 47 brand is also excellent.
I love lids.
Yes, strapbacks are go-to flavor. Yes, and especially like you're trying to find a fitted hat too. Like I've come around on like I'm not a huge fan of snapbacks, but at the same time, you find a good fitted hat, no matter the brand, like that to me is gonna last. Especially if it has like one of like the almost like the sweatband per se. I have like a Buffalo Bills like Dingus Day one that came out like a few years back, and it's a fitted one too, or like it was like a large, extra large style. But still, I would that's one of my go-to ones, whether I'm going to the gym or something like that. And I have a Sabres one that's also the same way. But still, I agree with also Justin's take on the 47 brand ones, because those are regularly excellent, and the quality of those they can last for years.
Yeah, well, fun fact that VCU hat that I got was actually 47 brand, but
there you go.
But but because it got sent in the wrong shape box, that's all like messed up. But
do the right thing, Fanatics. Replace this man's hat.
Right? Hey, make an apology, a public apology tour on every podcast known to man that was just saying about your absolute trash product. Sean, how about you? Got some gears to grind. You got some flowers to give.
I got both.
I was also fantastic, Riley. Not enough people still saying how much Fanatics sucks.
Thank you.
There you go. Justin's got your back, bud. Here you go. He says, Replace the
hat.
There we go. So I got two today. I got to grind my gear and a flowers today, which I normally don't. So I want to do a quick PSA for any people that might regularly tune in or not, a first time listener, watcher, viewer, whatever you are. You don't have to be necessarily a business person. This also goes for just people in everyday life, but especially if you're someone that's either entering the business workforce or you're an entrepreneur. If you say that you're going to do something, if you're going to say that you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, have a meeting, show up. And if you're not going to be there, make sure to send a professional reply about, why things might have changed. It's just the right thing to do. You'll get a lot farther in business. So I want to just put that out there. And then number two, I want to give a quick shout out and flowers to our parents, our regular viewers and watchers of the show, Memes and Pa. I had a chance to go meet them down in South Carolina earlier this week, where they've been looking for some property to purchase to be closer to Chris Maz and myself, and to do something for themselves, in their retirement age. And they seemed to find something that they really like. And I was very excited that they shared it with me, went down and visited. We went out to a really nice dinner. So shout out to them. Couldn't be more happy for them. I know Chris Maz feels the same. So we're very excited that they're doing something nice for themselves, because they deserve it.
Big endeavor for them too. So supporting them in anything they want to do with that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. All right. But as we're kind of wrapping things up, Riley, we always have a blast with and he also says they were a Fanatics rep. That's good. But Riley, again, always a blast having you on, man. Tell the listeners and folks where they can find you and what you might have cooking up for fun out in your neck of the woods, or maybe on some of your social media platforms.
Yeah, Chris, Sean, thanks so much for having me again. I always have a blast hanging out with you guys and talking about Bills and Sabres and getting into some JVU stuff too. It's always fun. But yeah, you can follow me on my social media. I'm at I am Riley Reed, not that Riley Reed.
Yes.
Just so you know. At I am Riley Reed, ReedRiley. So yeah, you can follow me. You want to check out our radio stations. We got a bunch here in the Shenandoah Valley. I'm on Q101 and More 96.1. And also, you might hear me every once in a while producing a JVU basketball game and football game. So yeah, nice. That's basically all I can say.
A man who wears many hats, and hopefully not a Fanatics one.
That's right.
So, although I do think I got this one technically from Fanatics, but this one's okay.
That one looks sharp.
And the script looks out. It kind of matches the one that we got, but we got ours through 26 shirts. That's right. Shout out to Del Reed and his crew. So
Del Reed, man.
Yes. So indeed the man. Shawnee, any parting thoughts as we wrap things up for this week?
No. Be excited to spend some time with you and the family.
Coming in next week for BHK. Baby Henry Knight's
Knight's first birthday. Supposed to be themed. I don't know if we're still doing that, but either way,
I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll ask the party planners about that one.
I know. Excited to be with the fam in RVA, where magic always tends to happen when I'm there. So I'm excited to come visit.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Look for us next week, perhaps with Shawnee V alongside me doing a show as well. That'd be a lot of fun. So, again, wherever you watch the show, on any of the platforms, thanks as always for tuning in. And, hey, let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo.